Hello, this is a playthrough of the demo for a demo example of the RPG Engine Toolkit. The goal of this example is to show off a few features and things like that that comes with the actual toolkit. We start off with actually loading an event at the beginning of the loading of map. So you can actually set events to be triggered by a map location or a map ID, which houses the location information for an event. So when you actually go into a certain map that matches that event type, then it will check to see if it can trigger an event, and if so, then it will trigger the event for that map, which is in this case an opening event. That same event flow leads directly into dialogue, which uses a grayed out background with an effect, as well as character billboards to simulate characters. This is just one of the ways to use the dialogue. Myself, I'm a fan of JRPG tropes. So you have cardboard cutout of characters, as well as just close in cuts of actual characters talking, which the next event will actually show off. For right now, I'm actually going to go and destroy this event PC. This example monster. This monster is actually disabled for its actual fighting right now. It was just here for an example. Normally she has a death effect, and that is what will clean up a monster. If a monster for some reason does not die, because you had some kind of defect or things like that in your handling of the destruction of your character, there is also a timeout after a death is detected that will automatically clean up the monster. I threw that in just to help with issues that could happen where, bugs happen. This whole area is designed to show off all the blueprint information for everything that comes with the toolkit, from event examples with all of these events here. We have store systems examples here for items, weapons, and things like that. We have an inn. We have treasure chest examples. One thing about the treasure chest, we have two types of treasure chests. One that is a replenishing treasure chest. That means every time you come back to the map, it's available for reopen. And if you only want the treasure chest to be opened once and only once throughout the entirety of your game, you can register the treasure chest as a singleton, which marks it in the database with an ID, and when it's actually open, it saves this status of open to the database. So that way, anytime you load the map, it checks to see if it should be open, and if it's open, it will be open already, and you won't be able to activate it anymore. As well as being able to drop treasure, I also add the ability for treasure chests to have an actual drop rate. So that way you can have miscellaneous items drop at different intervals to be able to make the treasure chests, to make the person more willing to try the treasure chest again to get a different set of wares or a different types of items. We have a movie play example. We have the ability to add EXP from events, add and remove money from events. These NPCs will actually give us and remove items from us, and these NPCs will actually add party members to our party list and also remove members from our party list. This NPC right here gives an example of a quest string. So he will give us a list of things that we have to bring back to him, and all we have to do is just go and get those items and bring them back to him to be able to do the quest. So now I need to buy a training spray, a fist buster, a training vest, and a mint. And while I'm here, I'm also going to buy the items that are needed to open the other treasure chest that's around here. But first, let me finish this quest up. I brought the items, he took them away from me and gave me gold. So now his current list of active events are done, and I have him triggered to no longer show if there is no event, to be able to clean up this NPC from the environment. So now that I bought those items, I can open this treasure chest, of which this treasure chest is linked to an event. You can also link events to treasure chests. I forgot to mention that. Since they are derived from an NPC, any of the features of an NPC, like stacked events, event triggers, and things like that, can be applied to the treasure chests. So you can easily set motion of enabling and disabling other events in your world based on opening a treasure chest. So now that we've opened the treasure chest, we've got a message in a bottle and reactivated this NPC for this other quest. So now we have a string of dialogue, and we lost the message in a bottle and gained another item. So now we open this other treasure chest. We trigger a different type of event scene. And within the actual dialogue system, you can have voice acting and things like that, and trigger voice acting for each of these messages if you see fit. There's also the ability for waiting for the voice acting to finish before continuing on to the next passage. So now that we've opened the treasure chest, he's committed suicide. We talk to the body and finish the actual cutscene. So now that's done. So those two events are now complete. We have an event of a teleport. So if I talk to him, it will teleport me to a point in the map and load me back in. We can also zone to another map completely. Let me zone back in here. These zones are actually connected through map IDs, which are stored in the actual database. You can also link from one map to another by just the pure name of the level and the spawn point location to go to another map. But if you want to actually trigger events from the zoning of a location, you have to make sure that that map is registered in the maps table in the database. So that way when you zone to a map, you can zone using that actual ID and it can trigger an event, much like I did when we loaded the level. We have an example of playing sounds and triggering weather events. Currently I have no weather in my examples, but if you want, you can put in anything that you want to use to trigger a certain weather type in the actual handling of the weather and automatically integrate that into your system. We have NPCs that allows you to change the time of day. So you can go from morning, noon, and night with these NPCs. We also have an NPC that shows off the choice, and with the event system, you can have nested choices in battle. You can have nested choices in the system. So you can have choices on top of choices on top of choices that all have links back to different events that you want to trigger based on just conversation trees. And I'm about to die. So now the actual ambush is over. The event is here. The event is complete since I killed all the monsters in the actual ambush for the event. And I can continue the event to its entirety. So now I'm going to go back to the end and revive my fallen player. So now my player is back and we can continue. I can also switch characters that I want to actually control. If we come over here, if I can hit the right button, if we zoom in, these events are, these NPCs are actually spawned with a crowd spear. NPCs have the ability to find point of interest objects like these benches and actually use the custom made point of interest objects to operate whatever the point of interest tells the NPCs to do. So in this case, it tells the NPC to sit down. It plays through a sit idle for a given amount of time, and then after that amount of time has elapsed, it will move on to do something else. Either find another point of interest and execute that point of interest, or move on to just wander the area. This is an example of a crowd point of interest, which tells the the NPCs to stand facing the center, do a random animation for a while, and then leave that point of interest chat and go and do something else. The NPCs are also created with a modular templates, which tells the modular generation what type of clothing to put together for this character type, what kind of scaling to do for their height, what kind of color their skin should be, as well as what kind of color to make their clothing. And the clothing are masked based on a red mask to tell the system, to tell the material which part of the clothing to actually make random colors for. And that gives you the ability to make different custom type of characters from a sea of templates. I'm almost out of time right now, but I will talk about the building generator. The building generator is actually used to use with the system to create a prefabricated building information, kind of like a layout or blueprint of a building, and actually build that. It will use that template information to build buildings in your level based on a actual theme template. And by theme template, I mean walls, buildings, and things like that that give an overall theme of the actual building. So this is kind of a modern setup with modern type of doors and things like that. If I wanted to make a medieval building, I can make medieval parts and put those together using the same template but a different feel and theme to the actual asset that's used to create the building. In here, I have another event that shows off the ability to do cutscenes. Well, not exactly the ability to do cutscenes, but the ability to use Matinee to string together dialogues as well for creating a cutscene with breaks in the actual cutscene that will actually allow the event system to go through, and I can make choices or things like that, or make decisions that will probably affect the matinee, or probably change some other kind of outcome event that's going to happen afterwards. And this uses one entire matinee to go through this entire process. So right now we're actually pausing the matinee, going through a dialogue, and then after the dialogue is done, it allows the matinee to continue. After the matinee is over, we actually trigger an additional matinee to show that you can stream these different matinees together to have some kind of continuity for the actual operation. So now the cutscene is over. Our character's actually been moved from in there to out here with another event trigger for triggering the movement of your character. And with that, I think I'm actually out of time for this video. And in the next video, we can go through the actual city, show the random NPCs in the example city that I have here, as well as go through the actual battle system that is in the other map.